folks. Let me check something. Second. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. But yeah, I thought I'd come on here while I have some time in this day. It's about 11:23 p.m. Pacific time, and thought I'd come on here and basically say, say happy 25th anniversary. That's right. In case you guys don't know, as of today, 25 years ago, this show right here debuted on ABC. This show, which ironically, when you think about it, it's kind of like it's kind of like 25 years ago's answer to what Friendship is Magic is like right now. Yeah. I mean, you have a fan base that strongly supports Friendship is Magic. Strongly supports it, if you will. You know, just like the fan base strongly supported this franchise, this series, this interpretation of Sonic 25 years ago and continuing. As a matter of fact, the DVD set that I'm showing you is responsible because of the fans. The fans wanted to see a complete series set. The closest that the fan base ever got was around 2004, when Lionsgate's, believe it or not, Lionsgate's Home Entertainment distributed 4 episodes, 5 actually. When you completed a quiz, you unlocked a bonus episode of season 1 of SatAM. And the DVD, I guess, sold very well, but it was taken off the shelves as quickly as it seemed to go on there, because at the time Disney kind of owned the license to anything Dick Entertainment related, or nowadays as they're known, DHX Media related. And yeah, it would be another 3 years before we would see an actual release, and it was courtesy of Shout Factory. Shout Factory started to distribute a lot of the Dick Entertainment, DHX Media shows from the past 20 years at that time, from the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s. So Sonic was among them, along with shows like Super Mario Brothers, Legend of Zelda, Heathcliff, you name it. Shout Factory and what's ironic is Shout Factory today distributes another, like I said, the other popular series that's very similar when it comes to its fan base of being very beloved and supported, and that's Friendship is Magic. And another thing that's kind of weird that connects the two, like I said, the 2004 single DVD release of Sonic SatAM by Lionsgate's Home Entertainment. Lionsgate's nowadays one of the bigger independent, if not one of the bigger publicly traded movie distributors, distributed My Little Pony the movie, the 2017 version. So it's kind of weird how all this connects together, how it just connects to get how you it's kind of eerie, I should say, how it all just comes full circle, if you will. And of course, like MLP, it had merchandise as well. It's just sometimes it took you going to certain parts of the world to get that merchandise. Another kind of eerie situation here is Australia is one of the countries nowadays that always seems to air episodes weeks, if not months before, weeks or a month before here in the U.S. of MLP. As a matter of fact, they just recently finished up season 8. We haven't even gotten the finale, but we will in the next several weeks on and around October 13th. But what's funny is back in the mid 1990s, Sega decided to open an indoor theme park called Sega World. Now they had a few of these. I think there was one in the European market, and I think they had one somewhat in the Eastern U.S. market. I'm not really sure. But the biggest notable one they had was known as Sega World in Sydney, Australia. It was a big indoor theme park, and one of its highlights, one of its selling points, if you will, hold on for a sec, check something. Okay. But like I said, one of its selling points was it had a stage show which featured Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, I think, and Dr. Robotnik, Eggman, if you will, in the story, but it also featured another character, Sally Acorn. Yeah. It was due to Sega World that Sally Acorn, Princess Sally, became a huge popular icon, pop culture icon that was never really in the games. The closest that Sally and Bunny and Rhoda ever got to the games was in a bonus level of Sonic Spinball, and that was about it. She became popular due to the series, due to the cartoon series, due to the comics, but my opinion, her popularity didn't really start to soar or to the stratosphere that it did, and even beyond that, until word got out that she was a focal point and a major player at the Sega World theme park, or indoor theme park in Sydney, Australia. And just like with Sonic and Tails and Knuckles and Robotnik, she had merchandise centered around her. She had clothing, she had of course plushies, she had mugs, you name it. And I was very fortunate around 2006-07, I believe, I gotta look it up, to finally get a Sally plush. Yeah, I got this. I spent about, if I remember right, it was on eBay. And I guess God directed me, and I believe God directed me directed me to this, because I noticed it was on eBay and it was going up in price. And I kept track on this and track on it and track on it. And I said, I'm not going to lose this. I'm not going to lose this opportunity. I have the money. And I was finally able to win the bidding war in the end to get the Sally plush. Now there is a bigger one, but this was the one that they had. And I've had it since about 2007. So I've had it for about 11 years. And I got it when I was still in Kansas. So this thing's been with me from the Midwest to here. And that's hard to believe. But yeah. But yeah, Sally, but yeah, it's like, it's hard to believe that it's been 25 years since the show came out. And I remember when they, and I've talked about this before, I remember when they used to have the Saturday morning previews. And I think, no, as a matter of fact, I don't have to think, they have it here on YouTube somewhere. It was the Saturday morning preview special featuring the cast of Hanging with Mr. Cooper. That's where we first saw Sonic. And I remember watching that, 5-minute preview or something, and I was hooked. I was instantly hooked. But I remember because we were living, long story short, me and my family were living in this older house that, if we had given it a chance, honestly, we could have probably fixed it up, made it into a livable home. Made it into a livable house, or a home. 2-story home, that is. And as for me, I was living on one of the upper rooms upstairs. So I had a TV up there, black and white, no cable. Not until later on, but we had enough of a strong signal to where I was able to watch the premiere on television now. I don't know why I didn't go down and join my family in watching it, but I decided to watch it up there. And like I said, I was instantly hooked. And since then, I've tried to watch every episode. As I've mentioned before in several stories I've talked about, my family would move back and forth, so it was kind of hard for me. We ended up living with my grandparents, which was even harder because I would try to I was sharing one room with my family. One room. So it was hard for me to turn on the TV because I'd be lying on this end. I'd be like lying on this end, and the TV would be on this end. It's like, here was me. It's like, here's my side. Here's where the TV was. And then here's this bed in between. So I couldn't turn it on. I couldn't watch it. But there were times that I will admit I succeeded. I don't know, God willing, God only knows how I did, but I succeeded sometimes in watching. So I don't know if it's maybe because my grandparents, they would go to Lake Comanche here in California, that I was able to do it. Because sometimes, if I was quiet enough, I would actually go and sneak into the living room or into the kitchen to watch it, or at least try to. So anyway, when I finally ended up moving back to Kansas to live with my dad, that's when I started to catch up on all the episodes during the summer reruns. I even used a VHS tape to record the episodes, make them part of a variety tape of other shows I had, which unfortunately is now no longer accessible to me because either the house got torn down because my dad moved out of it, legal issues, whatever. But he left a lot of our stuff there, including my movies that I had with me when I moved to my apartment in Lawrence, Kansas. But again, long story short, it's kind of inaccessible to me now, and it's probably trashed. It's probably in pieces now. Who knows? Probably warped. Who knows? But yeah, even if those tapes exist and they're still kind of in working condition. And by the way, if anybody wants to know, it was 711, I think, Hamilton Street, Oskaloosa, Kansas. The 405 Elm Street house right next to it. Anyway, long story short, I had them on a variety of discs. That was season 1. Then I decided to dedicate season 2 to a whole disc. And unfortunately, the VCR me and my dad bought from a pawn shop, which was working okay for a while, conked out on us. And well, and basically I had to end up watching the rest of season 2, the final season, unfortunately, of SatAM, without recording it. It wouldn't be until years later, thanks to people like Rafaela XD, Jay Foxfire, you name it, several other people, that I'd be able to finally get access to the episodes that I didn't have to complete somewhat of my season 2 collection. And it wouldn't be, of course, until 2004, and then, of course, 2007, until this came around. But nowadays, we don't even have to worry about this. If you have Starz On-Demand, Starz Encore On-Demand, and you have the kids section, and you know they have a family and kids section there, you can watch Sonic SatAM there. And if not that, you have things like the Film Rise series of channels, and one of them is a family channel that has it there too. That's Film Rise, and I found that through the Roku device. But yeah, you can now watch this in glorious 4K 1080p picture quality, because for some reason Starz did not 4:3 it. They extended it to where it's like a DVD playing on a DVD player that transmits out HDMI output to the television, which is probably what they're doing. But yeah, 25 years is hard to believe. It's really hard to believe. And I remember when the series officially ended. It was doing its reruns, and I thought honestly we were going to get another repeat of Doomsday Project. unfortunately, that didn't happen. Druid Hedge came, I mean, not Druid Hedge, but Spy Hog came on, and then that was it. It just ended after that. The episodes I was fortunate enough to record, variety-wise, I got things like Warp Sonic. I ended up recording Subsonic, Sonic and the Secret Scrolls. I think Sonic Past Cool. And then when it came to the Season 2 tape that I dedicated to itself, I ended up getting No Brainer, Sonic Conversion, Blaster Pass 1 and 2, what is it? Ghost Busted, Fed Up with Antoine, Dulcie, The Void, and then that was it. It was right after the Void episode, which was the prelude episode to the Doomsday Saga, that my VCR conked out. But again, thankfully these came, and now we have Starz that shows them as well. And also, like I said, thanks to other fans out there, I was able to make my own little DVD sets before this even happened, courtesy of the VCDs I ended up getting. But yeah, overall, it's hard to believe, 25 years. And as you saw here on YouTube recently, here on my channel, I was just happy I was just ecstatic to let people know that originally in August of this year, Sonic SatAM was supposed to leave Starz, or at least the license that Starz had for it was supposed to expire, and they were supposed to leave. Thank God that didn't happen, because now a new extension has been made to November 30th, 2020. My only suspicion on that, as I'm looking at the time here, my only suspicion on that is Starz looks at the fact that someone at Starz had to mention it's 25 years for the show since it debuted. They also probably mentioned the fact that it's good publicity as far as the upcoming movie goes next year. So I'm guessing some factors along those lines played in to the show. And it's also, like I said, it's also great publicity and a great resource for fans to point out to the IDW folks, this is the Sonic we want to see. These are the characters we want to see in the comic. So maybe hopefully it'll work out. Hopefully it's going to work out positively in the end. So anyway, though, I just wanted to come on here and say happy 25th anniversary, Sonic SatAM. I know people like MJ Knight and Jay Foxfire and everybody is celebrating as well. They've done their own way of celebrating their own tributes. And hopefully, maybe down the line, perhaps the Season 3 project will become an animated reality. Who knows? So, and maybe the Sonic movie might have some references and cameos by these characters. Who knows? But that's all I'm going to say, guys. So happy 25th anniversary, Sonic SatAM. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what your memories are of Sonic SatAM in the past 25 years. What do you hope happens in the future? And I'll talk to y'all later. God bless. Take care.